Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This episode is all about the GTIR, Baby Godzilla. We have acquired ourselves a little GTIR from Whangaparaoa, which is just south of us here in Whangarei in New Zealand. And we're going to look at trying to get this car revamped, get it back up to road legal standard. It's got a little bit of rust, it wasn't running when we got it. It had been stored away for a very long time. So apparently it had been stored away for 7 years in a greenhouse. So it had a lot of moisture, rats and things that chewed away at some of the wiring. So we've gone ahead and we're going to fix all that up, get the car running, get all the rust repaired, get it back on the road, and then eventually we're going to go back drag racing. Initially we want to get 11-second quarter as our initial goal with the car. About 300 kilowatts is what we need, and we're pretty confident we can do that with it quite simply. I don't want to spend a lot on this car, it's quite a simple build. And then down the track, phase 2, I actually want to try and recreate my initial car evilness from 22 years ago. I had a GTIR that won the Nationals, Foreign Rotor Nationals drag racing with a flat 12 back in 1999. So that flat 12 haunts me to this day, so I'd love to break into those 11s initially and then maybe even into the 10s after that. What would Evilness 2.0 look like if I still had it today? Well, we're going to find out with this car. I want to put some bigger wheels on, wide body, 5-stud, big brakes, so I've got a lot of plans for this car. So I'll go over and show you some of the issues with the car. It has a little bit of rust in certain areas, such as the doors, which I can easily replace. Rear quarter, it's got a little bit popped in through, a little bit round in the boot too. Battery's just kind of hanging out there, not quite sure what that's up to. It's got a BC Gold suspension, which is a plus. It's been certified. The exhaust and suspension and seats. It's a little bit of a shambles inside at the moment, as you can see. Broken windscreen and such. And the car's not actually running either, so apparently it's a couple of wires, you know, just the old usual. It's not running, it's just, you know, it's just a couple of wires. So obviously originally they have a top mount intercooler fed through the bonnet scoop, but that's been removed in favour of the front mount, which is a sort of a better option. Aftermarket radiator, obviously external wastegate, stainless manifold. I'm not sure what turbo is on there. Certified cert plate there for New Zealand roads to say that all the modifications are safe and to standard. Apparently with this particular vehicle, we have a couple of plugs down here for the throttle position, TPS, and the injector loom. And these plugs, as you can see, are damaged, snapped, cooked. So we'll just go through and tidy them up and probably drop the fuel, check the pump because quite often they gum up. See, even the fuel filter itself is really substandard, so may need to clean the injectors as well. We'll take them around to trans tune and get them sonic cleaned. I believe it's got an aftermarket ECU of some sort, of like a chipped Nissan ECU, maybe a NIS tune or sorts, probably around 350 horse I imagine. Should go right, so we'll see. We've changed out a few parts. We've got a few parts from Jeff down at in Auckland who does all the GTIR parts. So we've just changed out the airflow meter. You'll notice that the turbo on this has actually been turned around 180 degrees. Normally the intake comes out this side, but on this particular one it comes out this side. Alright, so Dave's made up a new plate for the sill. Show us how that fits in there, Dave. And that fits in there tight and neat. Got a bit of overlap so we can weld it nice and easily. Even though it's all covered by the side skirt, we still want it to be good underneath. Well, we still know what's there, and we want to do good workmanship obviously, so who doesn't? And yeah, so nice work, Dave. Daly's gone ahead and welded in this patch, and that looks all beautiful and smooth again now, so it's ready for a little bit of filler, primer, and eventually paint. We won't quite get there just yet. Just doing the other side at the moment, and we have to cut a bit out of the A-pillar here where it was a bit rusty under the hinge. Not ideal, so I have some holes right through. So it's gone ahead and cut this section right out, lifted this up, and you're going to get in here and patch up, TIG weld that up. Should be beauty. Just done a few little fills on this back section here. a few little holes. So that's pretty much the extent of the rust on this car, so I'm pretty happy about that because it could have been a lot worse. Some of the Civics and stuff we'd had through have been rotting right out through the whole floor. So we should be able to get that rolling today. Okay, Dave's under here. We're just tidying up the sills. They're a little bit rough at the edges, as you can see here. And also getting there and tidying up some of the scale on some of these seams as well. Just using a slide hammer and a pinch clamp to be able to clamp onto the sill. Move it around at will. Slide the slide hammer onto it. Give it a pull. Helps us straighten it all back out. Keep the Warren Fitness people happy. On to the next one. Alright, so we've got most of the metalwork done on the car now, which I'm pretty happy about because that's quite a major step. When we took this car on, we obviously had no idea what we were in for, how much we were going to have to do to get it back to Warren Fitnessable state. So remember in the pillar here there's a few holes and things, so we've gone ahead and patched all this up. It's all done with steel and welding, so it's all very solid, as well as putting a new plate in the sill here, which you saw, and that's come up really well as well. Add to that, we've got done a lot of work around the boot area, tail lights, and the boot floor itself had a lot of holes and pitting in it. So we've gone ahead and cut some of that out and patched it up, taken the exhaust mount off because we'll change the exhaust layout, and we won't need that anymore. So I'm really happy with how it's come up so far. All we've got left to do now is to tidy up the doors and refit those, refit the taillights and bumper, and we should be nearly ready to run through for an inspection next week. So I'm looking forward to that, and we'll see what that comes back with at the testing station. So that just about wraps up this episode for where we're up to with the car currently. Obviously looking forward to taking it to the track. If you're liking the content, obviously check back for more updates regularly. We're uploading probably at least once a week, maybe twice a week at the moment. Tell your friends, invite them in, share our posts, because obviously the more traction we get out there, the more traction we're going to get on track and the more footage we're going to be able to bring in. So we're looking forward to doing some cool stuff for you guys.